Yes, so transformation, change.
That's
But
great.
yeah, so it's all about transformation and change. And my background originally started in working on mostly M&A projects, when a company acquires another company or they want to do a restructure, those kind of things. So I would get involved in how you make the transformation happen and move everybody across if it's people's and process and technology. And as a sideline that came out of that was looking at what change means to people, where the gaps are around what you need to learn around skills and what the skills you need to be able to deal with the change. Because as we know, we don't like change, even if it's good change or bad change. We all react to not wanting the change and resisting it. So that's where it came out then, the ideas around where was there gaps around skills that you could learn or life skills that would help. And then the next stage was that, well, hey, a lot of that's been done before. Why don't we take it into a future context, transform into move into the future? What does the future look like 2035 and beyond, and learn in an immersive environment? So that's how it came about, the thinking. So my interests are in transformation, but at the same time, it's also in technology and what the future is. What does that mean from a work perspective and a personal perspective? My vision is a positive vision, not a negative one around. It's not I don't see an apocalyptic future as is predicted and that everyone loses jobs and there's no future. I see, I've done a lot of research myself, but there are going to be jobs that'll just be different and we'll have a different relationship. We'll end up that AI and robots are our work colleagues and our friends, and I see a different vision of how it'll be collaborative. It doesn't need to be them and us, and I suppose that's where all the movies and everything comes from for these kinds of things, is all very apocalyptic and negative, whereas you can turn it on its head and it can be very positive. Technology has more good things to offer the world than negative things to offer the world.
Okay, so the second is transformation. First is transformation, change or something, and
Yeah.
technology of the future in connection to AI.
Yes.
Okay.
And just I see there's lots of people focus on things like ChatGPT and whatever. That's just a tiny part of what the world future looks like. That's just a large learning model that creates something. It's not everything. You've got sensor technology, 3D and 4D printing. There's so many other technologies that because they don't sound, I suppose, sexy initially, but that 3D and 4D printing will transform the world across every single industry, whether it's medical, house building, infrastructure. It doesn't matter what it is. Sensor technology doesn't get talked about, but you can't create robots, you can't create smart cities unless you've got sensor technology in its forms. So there's lots of other technologies, I think, vertical farming, all different things that will transform what the world looks like. And that's what my classes, I use that to develop my classes. So you go into the future, you take on a role in the future, and you act out that role in a future scenario as well when I do classes. And that's what I've written about as well in the book. So it's trying to make that leap to see a positive world. There's a positive choice rather than a negative one, and it can be beneficial to everyone.
Yeah, sure.
It's a research project, or what's the background of why you're doing
So the
this, or is it
intention.
a particular one angle? They forced, and it's not. But you're trying to. It's more inspirational, maybe. Is that fair to say? So if people do come on and get interested, it's more inspirational because it's going in different directions. But you could be learning new things about life or getting in a different angle on a topic that you didn't know before.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. So you're working on your own, or you're a part of any formal institution or university?
Yes, no, I work for myself. So I've always done freelance work because that gives me flexibility to do. I've been lucky enough to work in a lot of very large organisations. So that's why I've learned a lot about how businesses operate globally, locally, how they manage their organisations, what all the roles are, and then be able to predict what I think the roles of the future are. So I worked in lots of different industries in banking, pharmaceuticals, retail, telecoms, what else? Insurance, many different industries. So that's helped me learn a lot about what the workplace landscape looks like and what it could look like. Obviously, another topic that I'm very close to my heart is the injustices of the world and what colonization has done to the world. And that's a huge subject that we could spend hours talking about. That's very close to mine. That's why I put on my LinkedIn, I believe in equality for all, humans, animals, and robots in this sense. I'm also a vegan as well, so I believe in equal rights for animals too. So I'm very much about equality. I have a very personal thing about injustice, because the world should be a fair place, and that's partly what feeds into, I think, this view that I have a positive view of the future. Because if we're not going to have a positive view of the future, I don't know where we're going, because it's all going in the wrong direction in a way. And if we're then going to blame robots for our behaviour, which is essentially what all those scenarios do,